Welcome back to We Need to Talk, where today we're talking about some youngsters. That's right, there have been some exceptional young players breaking through or hitting new heights in the Premier League this season. So today I thought it'd be a great opportunity to rank one Wonderkid, the best Wonderkid really, from each Premier League club. Now there is one important rule here. The players have to be 21 or under. They cannot be 22, they cannot be 23, so there are going to be some big name youngsters missing here because they simply are above that age cap, okay? I'm getting that in early doors. I've tried to select who I feel personally is the best performing youngster that fits into that category from each Premier League club. I've got 5 categories in front of me, the chosen one. Only one player can go in this. This is, in my opinion, the best under-21 footballer in the Premier League. The next three players can go in this category, who I believe are the next 3 players up on the pedestal. Players who are having great seasons. Some players I think we need to see more from. Either they need more game time or themselves aren't quite playing at the level they should be. And no youth. What's gone on at these teams? Let's just get the chosen one done and dusted, shall we? We all know it's going to be Bukayo Saka. It is ridiculous that he's still only 21. Obviously 12 goals, 10 assists in the Premier League so far this season. So many vital, game-changing moments in there as well. Also scored 3 goals at the World Cup. I think Bukayo Saka is a potential future Ballon d'Or winner. I really do. His ceiling is ridiculously high. If he can stay fit, he can be one of the best players in the world. Next up, we've got Jacob Ramsey, who really broke through under Steven Gerrard and was a very, very exciting talent. He had a little bit of a slow start to the season, but I really feel like he's finding his feet again now under Unai Emery. Aston Villa, as a club, looked pretty spectacular under Unai Emery. Since he took over, they're taking the 3rd most points in the league. Very, very impressive. And you can see, even before Unai Emery took over, across the last 365 days, just how impressive Jacob Ramsey has been at Aston Villa. Some of these numbers, you look at the progressive carry stat, look at some of the non-penalty XG numbers, the blocks, the tackles. He is an absolute all-action central midfielder. And for his age, he's extremely exciting. I don't think he's going to be in the next 3, but certainly he's having a great season. And for me, he can go to even higher levels under Emery. Next up, we've got Dango Ouattara. Another player who you would have to say is having a great season. He had a spectacular time of things for Lorient in France. I think it was 11 goals and assists in 18 games. Moved to the Premier League in January. He's already put up 3 assists. Some really spectacular performances. I thought he was excellent against Liverpool, Forest. I thought he was really good against Newcastle as well. Bournemouth look a much better side for him in the team. So you would have to say he's having a great season. Kevin Schade is up next. I think he's got a really high level, but we do need to see a little bit more. Only 1 Premier League start. It was only 1 Bundesliga start at Freiburg as well. But we have seen him called up to the German national team this week, haven't we? So that's extremely exciting. And when he's coming off the bench for Brentford, he's looked like a little bit of a game changer at times. But for the sake of Kevin Schade and for us, I just want to see more of him. So I'm going to put him in We Need More. We needs more. I've just noticed the category's called We Needs More. I'm going to leave it as that now because, you know, continuity and all that. We needs more. But, yeah, not quite great season, but he does look impressive. He's definitely got something. Next up, we've got Evan Ferguson at Brighton, who is still only 18 years old. 7 goals, 3 assists in 6 starts for Brighton this season. The goal at the weekend against Grimsby. I know it's only against Grimsby. I don't care who it's against. That was like watching Dennis Bergkamp pull the ball down, get it out of his feet and finish all in one fluid motion. He's a big physical unit, a natural goal scorer. I'm tempted to put him in the next 3. Is he one of the 3 best under-21s in the Premier League outside of Bukayo Saka? I'm not sure. I think Manchester United should be extremely interested in Evan Ferguson in the striking role. I don't necessarily think he would be the starter, but you know, if you could go out and get a player and Evan Ferguson, I think he's an extremely exciting talent, honestly. The recruitment at Brighton to bring him in, was it from Bohemians, I think, potentially, over in Ireland? I will check that after. Brighton fans, let me know, but he's just different gravy. Hold-up play spectacular. When he drops deeper, his passing range is amazing. Brilliant finisher, very physical for his age. He's still only 18. I'm actually going to leave him in the next 3 for now. Seriously, I think he's that good. That might drop down to great season when I go through some of the rest of these names, but he is outrageous. Next up, at Chelsea, this was a difficult decision to pick a player. You know, Carney Chukwuemeka's there. You could have taken some of the other young talents. Amari Hutchinson was very, very highly rated when he came in from Arsenal. But I actually think the best under-21 at the club right now is Big Benoit Badiashile, who I think is sensational. It's so hard to find a left-footed centre-back that is comfortable on the ball, physical enough to play in the Premier League, let alone age 21. He has come in from Monaco, where he was having a really, really good season and been a bit of a game changer. Chelsea have been a mess, but they've majority been a mess in attacking areas. I think by goals conceded, they are 3rd or 4th in the league, and I think Badiashile has played a part in that. I think for him to miss out on the Champions League squad was pretty disgraceful. I think he should have been in. I really do. I think he's one of the next 3. I mean, you look at some of his underlying numbers, especially his passing range for a player that is such a unit. I think he is 6'4", 6'5", but he's so intelligent, so silky on the ball. His first touch is brilliant. I think he has a massive, massive future at the club, Benoit Badiashile. For me, he's in the next 3. Michael Elise is up next, and this is an interesting one because in terms of talent, I actually think he's one of the best raw talents in this entire list. His skill set is so elite, left-footed right winger who can play deeper, can get involved in midfield, unbelievable dribbler with the ball at his feet. I just don't feel like he's kicked on this season, and I think that's partly due to Palace being quite out of form, but I would like to have seen more. I think 2 goals in 23 appearances, obviously one of them a screamer against Manchester United, but I don't know. I was really expecting Elise to go to the next level and just be basically unplayable this season. But some of his attacking output just quite disappointing. And that's a shame. You know, there is 5 assists in his game, but you look at these numbers here, I don't know, maybe I'm being harsh here. Maybe I'm being harsh, but things like progressive carries in the 60th percentile, I think he can do better than that. And I believe he will. I think he will go to new heights, but this season, I think I wanted to see a little bit more. Palace fans, I'm really interested to hear your take on Michael Elise. Do you think he could have given a little bit more this season? Is it a function of the team struggling and the lack of additions in midfield? You know, doesn't have a player like Conor Gallagher pressing off the ball alongside him this season. I'm really interested to hear what you've got to say. Next up, we've got Amadou Onana. Couldn't believe he's still only 21. He's having an undeniably great season. He's probably been Everton's player of the year, alongside maybe, you know, some of the centre-backs, Tarkowski, Pickford. I think Amadou Onana has been a revelation in their midfield. He just gets the club. I was at Stamford Bridge on the weekend after the 2-2 draw. He was there last on the pitch in front of the away fans, whipping them up, jumping around in front of them. He gets what's needed to stay in this division with Everton. I don't think he's going to be at Everton for too much longer. No offence, Everton fans, but you know what? They're going to get a massive fee for him because he is only 21. Just a brilliant player. I mean, the performance against Arsenal at home was one of my favourite individual performances of the season. I think he has a massive future. Fulham, no under-21 player in the Premier League squad, according to Transfermarkt anyway. I mean, there are youth players in their under-21 setup, but no youth under-21 player has played for them this season in the Premier League, which I thought was crazy, but is true. I tell a lie there. There's actually 17-year-old Luke Harris, but he hasn't started a game. He's only played, I think, 10 minutes of football. And obviously Jay Stansfield, who's on loan at Exeter City. So, yeah, I'm just going to have to put them in the no youth category. I can't judge those 2 players. Next up, we've got Wilfried Gnonto. What a great season he's having. Looks like an unbelievable signing. It's crazy to think he's only 19. He seems so physically developed for a player of his age. His dribbling ability. Oh! I mean, you have a look at some of his underlying numbers. I think he's averaging like 5 progressive carries per 90, which is in the top 8 percentile of European forwards. Just exceptional. 5 goal involvements, I think, in 12 Premier League starts. What a revelation of a signing he's been. Obviously, he's already capped by Italy as well. Next up, we've got Luke Thomas. Leicester only have 2 players, I believe, that are under the age of 21, kind of qualifying for this tier list. They might have some youngsters that have played a couple of minutes here or there, but Luke Thomas has played 8 times. I think I want to see a little bit more. We haven't really seen him kick on either. He was very highly rated when he broke into that Leicester side, but Leicester's backline has just been such a mess this season. Hasn't been down to him because there's been wide-ranging structural problems, but I think that has contributed to him not going to the next level. So I want to see more. For Liverpool, we've got Stefan Bajcetic. I'm unsure on the pronunciation. I've tried my best there. I'm going to call him Stefan from here on out, but what a talent this guy is. And the best thing you can say about Bajcetic, I've done it anyway, is that he's come into a mess in central midfield and looks immediately like a standout performer. It doesn't feel like he's been caught up in that mess and looks underwhelming and you can blame things on him because of the structure. He immediately looks as a standout player. Very exciting prospect. Loves to get involved in a tackle, but also really good progressor of the ball. Only 18 years old as well. And Liverpool cannot rely on his emergence as a reason not to sign 2 central midfielders. Yes, he is a sensational youngster, but I think they still have to sign 2 central midfielders. I'm kind of tempted to put him in the next 3. I'm going to put him in the next 3 for now, and then at the end of the video, I'm going to have to drop 1 or 2 players from that because I'm only allowed 3 in that category. So you have to stick around, see what I've done there. That's peak YouTube. Okay, for City, I think it's Rico Lewis. He's had a certain breakthrough season, hasn't he? 500 minutes already in the Premier League. At times, he's displaced players like Kyle Walker. Incredible to think how good this guy is at his age. To be 18 and to be able to play as an inverted fullback in the midfield area in a Pep Guardiola system is mind-blowing. Honestly, it is mind-blowing. His passing ability, his tenacity, it does remind you of a young Philip Lahm. It really does. Look at the passes attempted, completed, progressive carries. Yes, his defensive numbers are low, but they're low because City retain 90% possession, and that's why he is basically playing as a central midfielder, despite the fact he's a fullback. At 18, I can't overstate how ridiculously hard this is. He has to go in the next 3 for now. Obviously, one of these players is going to get dropped. I don't want to just put forwards in there. I want to see some defenders in the next 3 up, man. I really do. Talking of ridiculously high-level talents, we've got to talk about Alejandro Garnacho, haven't we? His breakthrough season at Manchester United, finally coming under Erik ten Hag. He took some stick like a month ago, which is absolutely comical. He is a frighteningly good prospect. His ability to progress the ball with defenders in front of him and very little support outside him is outrageous. He seems like he's a natural goal scorer from the left-hand side, constantly getting into good areas, very composed for a player of his age. He's still only 18 and has already become one of Manchester United's most impactful players off the bench. These numbers don't lie. You know, look at this non-penalty expected goals. Look at these progressive carries, successful take-ons, touches, progressive passes received. It's outrageous. He works hard off the ball. I think he is an absolute nailed-on future star, Garnacho. Manchester United have got to tie him down to a new contract. Of course, it's up in the summer. He's also going in the next 3, so I'm going to have to lose 2 minimum from here. If I add another player as well, I might have to lose 3. So 2 of these players are going to have to drop down, and oh my word, I'm not sure who. Next up, we've got Elliot Anderson, who was, of course, robbed of his goal against Forest, wasn't he? I think we need to see more because it's just 1 Premier League start. Obviously, that came against Liverpool as well, and I think he was the one that was hooked, actually. Yeah, he was the one that was hooked when Nick Pope, of course, got comically sent off. So I want to see a little bit more, but, you know, the hype around this kid at Newcastle is monumental. I remember Joey Barton, laugh what you want, when Elliot Anderson was on loan, talking about him having the composure of Maradona in attacking positions, which is quite funny. But, you know, the chief scouts and stuff I've heard likening him to Peter Beardsley. So I think there's a real high-level talent, but I just want to see more. It's an important stage of his career now. Eddie Howe was talking about it the other day, trying to get him more game time. He might well have a spot now with injuries and fitness issues piling up for Newcastle. He's got to rip hold of that shirt and hold on to it. Brennan Johnson, who scored 7 Premier League goals, by the way, is undeniably having a great season. If Nottingham Forest stay in the Premier League, he is a large reason for that. His combination with Morgan Gibbs-White are exceptional. And at 21, he's definitely going to be the future of the Welsh national team. He's a really exciting player. If Forest go down, he will not be going down. He will be snapped up by a Premier League side. Likewise, Romeo Lavia is having a great season. A breakthrough campaign since leaving Manchester City, of course, was linked to a £50 million move to Chelsea. If Southampton go down, he's definitely getting snapped up. He is an incredible line-breaking passer. I think he's in the top 15 Premier League players for progressing the ball from deep in his half to an advanced position in the opposition half. Incredibly high percentage of accuracy in doing that as well. I think it's around the 80 percentile that he makes and progresses. So he's definitely going to be snapped up. Even if Southampton stay in the Prem, I think they're going to have a bit of a trouble holding on to Romeo Lavia. He's that high of a level talent. Next up, we've got Sarr at Spurs, the guy who gave away the penalty against Southampton. That was never a penalty, by the way, if we're absolutely real. I just think we need to see a little bit more. It's only 144 minutes of football this season, isn't it? So we have to say we need to see more of him. But I have to say there's not many under 21 players in that Tottenham squad. You know, this is definitely a symptom of Antonio Conte. It really is. He was brought in to win things. He hasn't won anything. And when Antonio Conte arrives at your club, your squad gets older. It's a simple fact. They go hand in hand. They have done across his entire career. Don't be surprised about it. So players like Sarr haven't got the minutes because of that. West Ham don't have any under 21 players to pick from here. West Ham, who have one of the best academies in the Premier League. The level of talent they've produced over the years is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And the numbers are shockingly old. They really are. Divin Mbama, 3 minutes of football this season in the Premier League. I'm astonished by this one, but they're obviously going in no youth. Finally, we've got Rayan Nouri, who is really highly rated. You know, Manchester City were looking at this guy as a potential left-back option last season amongst Marc Cucurella. And I think we should have seen more. We haven't really seen an awful lot of him under Julian Lopetegui, have we? Which is a little bit of a surprise, but I think it's 2 or 3 starts under Lopetegui in the Premier League. He's obviously preferred Johnny, who's a little bit more solid in that position. Now Johnny is banned. Hopefully we get to see a little bit more of Rayan Nouri because I think he's an extremely highly talented player. Okay, we've got to be brutal here. The next 3. Before I do this, I want to see from you guys at home who you would pick as your next 3. 5 players to pick from: Ferguson, Badiashile, Bajcetic, Garnacho and Rico Lewis. Who are the 2 players you drop down to having great seasons? I think for me, I'm going to drop Evan Ferguson down just because he hasn't played enough games. Badiashile is staying in there. He is. Garnacho is staying in there. That's a bit of, you know, red tinted goggles there. Bias is showing, but whatever. So it's between Bajcetic and Rico Lewis. I think I'm going to go with Rico Lewis and I'm going to put Bajcetic down there. I think Bajcetic is a fabulous player, but I do wonder if we think he's had a better time of it just because the side around him, the midfield around him has looked so poor. He stands out. So I'm going to go for my next 3, Badiashile, Garnacho, Rico Lewis, although Evan Ferguson and Bajcetic should really be in that category. They're above most of these players. They've had stunningly good seasons. So that was my ranking of some of the Premier League's best Wonderkids. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, hit subscribe. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. We'll see you later. Goodbye.